So let's go ahead and look at this New World video. I haven't had a chance to watch the new dev update, and I want to see that too.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Mo, your host, the man who brings you the most with a side of toast. And today, we're talking about the New World of February update. And if you guys wonder why I'm smiling, it's just because it's been a while since I've been excited about New World stuff. And I want to talk
Same.
about this. Don't worry, we're not going to go too deep into this. I want to talk about some key points here in the
Okay.
patch notes because of the fact that this means that they're moving in the right direction. I can appreciate the fact that even though the numbers are down, even though the player count is down,
Yes.
even though it seems like the future is bleak, that they're still plugging. They're still, putting in the work, taking the steps to make sure things are going to happen, right? And
Well, the thing is, like, New World can have a bright future, and New World can get better. Like, I feel like the foundation of New World is something that they can build off and actually grow into a better game. But they just need to, as I said before, they need to abandon what they think the game needs. Because, like, for my opinion, is that Azoth in the game makes the game worse. Period. It makes the game worse in every single regard. And if it was taken out of the game, the gameplay would improve substantially, instantaneously.
you guys will be able to see that as we point out some key things here in the patch notes that I think you guys will be really, really excited about. Do I think that this is a time to come back to New World just because
Not
of the
yet.
bug fixes?
Not yet.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, not yet.
I still think that it's probably going to be a little bit more of a better decision to wait for feature updates, especially as they're talking about in March they're going to be closing the chapter out, the Captain Thorpe and all that. So hopefully that means some new dungeons. We can close that.
I thought we killed Captain Thorpe. Like, yeah, I thought we killed him in the depths. What do you mean? How's he still alive, dude? Well, what the fuck happened? Yeah, I mean, that's just about it. Add mounts or I'm never coming back. You wouldn't need mounts. See, the problem, whenever you say add mounts or I'm never coming back, you know what you really mean? I think what you really mean is it's fucking annoying having to run everywhere. And so maybe that's the problem. Maybe the solution to that problem isn't mounts. I think that adding mounts to New World is not necessarily what they need to do. It's the fact that teleporting and moving around in the world is artificially hard to do. And they have like this artificial barrier that they've created to make it to where you have to just run around in the world. And the reason for that is very simple. It's because New World, the developers and the team, think that the world that they made is really great and they want people to experience it and look at it. And I completely agree with them. But I think that if you make somebody do it, they're not going to like it.
And then
the world
with
is
the
beautiful.
new
You're
roadmap
right.
that's going to be coming, we can see what their bigger plans are, so we can start gearing up for some future content in the game. So
It's
let's
like
go.
basically a good example of this is like in Lost Ark, you spend 95% of your time, unless you're doing islands, doing the content. In New World, you spend 90% of your time not doing the content. You spend 90% of your time going from point A to point B. You go there, you kill 4 goats, and then you run back. Killing the 4 goats takes 10 seconds, and running there and back takes 8 minutes. That's such a terrible balance. That is a horrible fucking balance of time. You spend more time traveling to the content than doing the content itself. Like, and like you could say like, oh, Legion world quests were like that too. Yeah, but you also had flying mounts that you could just AFK on. Like, you could just go up, you fly up on your mount, and then move, and then go down. Whereas New World, you have to watch where your character is going because you're going to run into a rock or a tree or something like that. And also, it's just simply because we have a tool available in game that makes it not like this, and players can't use the tool unless they farm out an arbitrary resource. It's a relic from whenever New World is a sandbox PvP game. They need to get rid of it. Yeah, they need just get rid of it. Just stop. Just get rid of it.
Go ahead and get into this. So as we know, guys, the world experience, it's all about bug fixes this month.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They've been doing some key things here, just fixing some overall stuff with a lot of the mobs and the expeditions and, things like that. But things start to get really, really interesting when we start to get into weapon swapping and combat functionality. We've we've had weapon swapping problems since the beginning. This is nothing new. It's really weird for me. Like even now when I'm playing Elden Ring, I find myself pressing my weapon swap button, or the button I use for weapon swap in New World. I use it for dodge in Elden Ring, and I'm pressing it multiple times because I've grown used to having to do that, like from playing New World, right? Trying to swap my weapons, but
Yeah, I think the weapon swapping's always been clunky and shitty. And I also wanted to say before, people are saying that, oh, they're complaining about having to traverse a world in a game. Yes, I want to make this very clear. I don't want to have 10 minutes of travel time going to and from a quest in New World. This makes my experience worse in the game. I want to be able to fast travel around the world with literally zero restrictions. Like, I don't want to have any restrictions at all for fast traveling around. Period. And, oh, you just want stuff for free? No, I don't. I just don't want to have to deal with that. It's a way. I don't want to have my time wasted. And I feel like New World is the best game ever made at wasting your time. It is an insanely good game at wasting your time. And that's what really fucking sucks, man. And it's no most, yeah, hands up who does it exactly. Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy, you don't have to do that. WoW, you don't have to do that. Lost Ark, you don't have to do that. Why the fuck would somebody want to do that in New World? It's fucking annoying. You want like Ashes in? There's no fast traveling. Ashes is a different game. The reason why New World is bad for not having fast traveling, like Black Desert Online doesn't have fast traveling, and it's pretty much okay too, as far as I know. At least it didn't whenever I played it. It's not that every single game needs fast traveling. It's that New World needs fast traveling.
It's they've finally started to work on this. They've also freshened up and tightened the dodging and blocking window to make combat more fluid. Not to mention they've adjusted some things with jumping, and also the 300 focus attribute where it creates the mana regeneration from the attribute bonus to trigger when the mana drops to 15 or less. Now, the beautiful thing about this change is that now with combat becoming more fluid and easily accessible, it means that as they continue to release new weapons, obviously bugs will be present.
Yes.
But as they continue to release more weapons, it's going to continue to make the combat system more dynamic, which means a lot more fun for competitive PvP and arena when that comes in the future.
They need to add an arena.
Now they continue to make some bug fixes. There are also some big buffs and nerfs to certain weapons. I would say that the Fire Staff users will be pretty excited. They've made your Fireball bigger, and now Fireball can crit, which is one of the
Fireball is, in my opinion, probably the best spell in the game. Like of all the spells in New World, period, Fireball is the coolest fucking spell.
Abilities Fire Staff users use, so you guys could definitely be excited about that. The Great Axe has had a bunch of changes. It seems that they decided to move away from what they were doing in the PTR because a lot of people were complaining about that, but they wanted to fine-tune and work on that. They fixed the issue with the hatchet that people have been using.
Which one?
And the Ice Gauntlet got a slight nerf as well, because before it was just a little bit too potent with the ice spikes, so they're going to be reducing the chance that
I watched so many videos where people just got one shot by ice spikes, man. It was so fucking funny to see.
Four spikes can hit a single player. Now, there's some other changes with some other miscellaneous weapons. They're going to be continuing to work on the musket.
The problem is, like, the ice spikes, I think it was an unintended interaction with, like, the it was like the T-pose ice spikes or something like that, and like all of them would hit somebody. And also, like, the ice spikes, like, getting a kill on somebody like that is like super RNG, and like also to a certain degree you have to be like really bad to get tapped like that. So it's like, is it really something that needs nerfing if it's really just kind of a skill shot? I don't know if it is or not, but I can see why they did. Ice spike is a skill shot? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no RNG, shut up. Well, of course there is, right? I mean, like, so for what I'm saying is, like, if you get, I guess it's probably not really RNG. That's not really the best word for it. I mean, I guess like maybe critical strike would be RNG. But like, what I'm saying is, like, if you are a good player, you probably won't get one tapped with an ice spike.
As things go by, because as they mentioned in the developer stream, the musket is one of the least used weapons, so you guys can probably expect to see some things there. They've also made some adjustments with the rapier, some of which were listed later. But with the rapier, some of the issues that they're having with the rapier is people are using the rapier more for a defensive
To jump
standpoint
away.
instead
Yeah.
of offensive, and they want to focus, or they want players to focus more on the offensive side. So they've increased the cooldowns quite considerably of riposte and the other abilities like evade and stuff like that people were kind of using just for defense to get away. Now, I'm laughing at this just because I know everybody was abusing it. Rapier was easily a top choice for getting in, getting out of fights. But now it looks like it may or may not be the case with the increased cooldown.
I kind of like that play style though. To be honest with you, like how you jump in with the rapier, you do like your repose, you do, and then like you do like the spin, you turn around, you go away. Like I thought that was really cool.
Cooldown. So now it's going to force people to kind of look at other weapons to, do what they need to do. Now, they did fix an issue with the Void Gauntlet that would reset the lowest active cooldowns. So hopefully that'll give some adjustments because, as we know, Void Gauntlet, Ice Gauntlet is still pretty cracking. They've also fixed a ton of bugs with Outpost Rush and reworked the Outpost Rush scoring and rewards. So daily damage now increases the player's score. Okay, so no longer is it just like you just standing around not feeling like you did anything because you felt like all you had to do in Outpost Rush was to get last hits, which is nice. I hated that.
That's just trash. Like any last hitting in games, I think is generally trash. Like I think it's just it makes people play in a way that's not natural.
They've also reduced the amount of points granted from killing players. They reduced the amount of points granted from killing AI. So it seems like overall contribution is going to be what we're going to be looking at here. They've visually changed the nameplates of several Outpost Rush AI to better clarify their difficulty. The changes in the nameplates do not mean that there are tuning changes to those AI unless called out below. Now, they've increased the health and power of several monsters and stuff, and increased the base damage of certain siege weapons to incentivize utilizing those. And they've also reduced the length of Baroness Haynes' score lock from 3 minutes to 2.5 minutes.
I don't really care too much about like the Outpost Rush stuff, to be honest with you guys. Like it's not really super interesting to me. I feel like what New World really needs is they need more end-game activities. Like Outpost Rush is just like how many times are you going to run that until you're done running Outpost Rush? Like they need arena. They need actual like large-scale PvE encounters or challenging PvE encounters like mutators. The reason why mutators don't work is because you have to invest a lot of resources into doing them. I think that New World, again, is like stuck on this idea of tuning orbs. I feel like tuning orbs just suck. I don't want to farm tuning orbs. It's that simple. It's dumb. Like it's like another barrier to entry. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't care. Oh, well, you have to wait. I don't care. I don't want to do it. I don't care what the reason is. I don't want to do it. That's exactly the way I feel with fucking tuning orbs and a bunch of others. It made me quit. Yeah, it's like I would log on and you have to pay like 2,000 or 1,500 gold. This is whenever I was playing. 2,000 or 1,500 gold to get into a Genesis run. You have to pay fucking 1,000 to 2,000 gold just to join a dungeon. It's insane. Yeah, it's just like it's just too fucking much, man. I was paying $10 a month, do unlimited dungeons before I hit max expertise. It's just not fun to do. And also, like, there's only 3 dungeons. Like, now there's 3 dungeons, right, with mutators because you have Dynasty Shipyard. 3 fucking dungeons? Are you kidding me? Think about how many fucking end-game activities there are in Lost Ark. And then compare that to New World. Holy shit, man. Those orbs suck so badly. Yeah, I don't want a barrier to get into dungeons. Let me do the content. Yes, the barrier to do the content should be the content. Yeah, that's what it is. That's all it is. If they focused on just the PvP, it would have been a niche but awesome game. No, because like New World has terrible desync problems and like terrible collision problems. Like it's never going to be like a S tier PvP game in the same way that like League of Legends or any other like a MOBA type game is. Like it's just never going to be there. The engine doesn't run that smoothly.
In an attempt to make things or keep things more competitive. But in terms of the rewards, Outpost Rush now rewards Umbral Shards upon completion of the match, 100 shards for the winning team, 50 shards for the losing team. Players must meet the minimum score threshold to be eligible for this reward. Outpost Rush now rewards faction tokens upon completion of a match. Players must meet the minimum score threshold to be eligible for this reward. Outpost Rush
I think that's just a like what New World needs to do is they need to do what good developers do. I hate having a minimum score threshold because what people are going to do is they're going to get to that minimum score threshold and then stop trying. And what they're going to do is there's not going to be GMs that actually, yeah, they're just going to AFK after that. Like, that's just what they do. And it's very unfortunate that this happens, but I mean, like, it's not that big of a fucking surprise. And what they need to do is actually have GMs ban people that are AFKing Outpost Rush all the time. Just ban the account or suspend them for a month or something like that. Like, if you're AFKing BGs constantly, you shouldn't fucking join a BG. Problem solved.
Caches are now rewarding 2 pieces of Outpost Rush specific armor and an Outpost Rush specific weapon. Yeah. There's an additional 15% for a 4th item, a piece of Outpost Rush jewelry. So now with the implementation of PvP specific gear, I think this is a step in the right direction, especially as they plan to release more PvP instances. Meaning, like, maybe we'll have a capture the flag, maybe we'll have another type of system outside of Outpost Rush. And now that they're laying the groundwork for this can open up a lot of opportunities in the future. Now, they've also significantly increased the likelihood that the rewards in Outpost Rush, the caches will increase the player's expertise, which is nice. Again, meaning good. They're probably just prepping for future content. But overall, it seems like they're slowly laying or continuing to fine-tune the foundation of this game brick by brick. Now, there were some other notable fixes and quests, which we're not going to go over here today. In terms of economy and progression, leveling your professions now require 10% less XP.
Why it takes so long to do that? But I don't understand. Like, have y'all do you guys have any just a second, yeah, it is blowing hot air. I'm gonna open up my window. Do you guys have any professions in New World, like crafting professions? I'm talking like leatherworking, furnishing, blacksmithing, armoring, weaponsmithing. Do you guys have any of them at 200? Arcana? Yeah, make sure I open the window. It doesn't get too hot in my room. Okay, so yeah, maxed all of them. Yeah, it's like, it's just such a stupid fucking grind. Like, making 500 pairs of gloves, it's just way, way, way too much. Like, I understand that, like, they want to make sure that people keep playing the game, but, like, it's just such a massive fucking grind that I don't think it's super, it's not super fun to do. And, like, I wish that, and they kind of fixed this, but whenever I was playing, the best way to do it was to just spam low-level materials. That's all it was.
They had an issue where the T5 family muskets weren't dropping, so they went ahead and fixed that, alongside some other notable bug fixes that were happening with the progression systems that they're going to continue to work on and tweak.
That's great.
Now, they also introduced a new trade channel for the UX, UI, and social.
That's a good idea.
Alongside fixing some other notable things in the UI, things that had to do with like Twitch and stuff like that, so I'm happy that they finally worked on and hopefully fixed that for good. Now, in terms of the end game, Yellow Topaz no longer has a minimum drop time. Black Gypsum minimum drop time has been reduced from 10 to 5 minutes. Purple Gypsum minimum drop time is reduced from 2 minutes to 30 seconds. And they added a Gypsum Orb to the faction vendor, which can be bought once per day for 7,000.
That's actually really good. I like that a lot. I really wish, like, in retrospect, that if New World had released on the Gypsum patch, I feel like it would have at least twice as many players now as it has, as it does have. Because I think a lot of people got into the end game and they just realized that it was farming Watermark at that point, and it was so boring, and they literally just quit the game. It would have, it would have 4 players instead of 2. Yes, exactly. And so 20k people, it would be better than what it was. All I'm saying is that the end game. The reason why Lost Ark is so successful, and the reason why it's retained, like, look at this graph here. Like, how many fucking games have this kind of a graph for a release? Basically 0. Like, even go over here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Let's look at Elden Ring. Like, let me see if I can find, how long has it been out? Like 2 or 3 days? February 25th? Yeah, I guess Elden Ring, actually, wow. Elden Ring went up in players. Holy fucking shit. Jesus, I didn't even realize that. Wow, okay, Elden Ring is a bad example then. Yeah, never mind. Well, with a lot of games then, Yeah, with a lot of fucking games then in that case. Yeah, Elden Ring, bad example. And it's the weekend. True. What's up, Courage? How you doing, man? And anyway, what I'm saying is like a lot of these games and a lot of this kind of shit you see is it's just, this is very rare to see an MMO that pops off and retains this player base, especially for an MMO. It is super rare. And so, yeah, I think that's a big deal. Like, you have to make sure that you have an end game that keeps people retained. It keeps people involved and it keeps people enjoying it over time. It's just because there's so much content. Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but it's a free-to-play MMO. Yeah, I think that being free-to-play makes a big difference too. You're right about that. It definitely does. But I feel like even before it was, like, all of the people that paid the Founders Pack, it still had 500 players at the start, and it retained those 500 players. It is very success. Yes, exactly. Okay, MMOs. How come most MMOs do the Asian model of upgrading instead of the WoW-based gear model? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
Faction
It's just how they do things.
So again, you know, with the stack of the
500K
of the Outpost Rush,
Not
and getting
500
the faction
players.
tokens and stuff, like this is gonna be pretty nice. All right. So aptitude leveling, you can finally get smelter crafting gear from tier 3 aptitude boxes. So there's a little bit of incentive to get back to your smelting. The drop of
That's
viscous azoth now drops from armor aptitude boxes, which is also nice. And speaking of nice things, they're continuing to keep the taxes low on the houses. Now that economy,
because nobody wants to pay taxes. Nobody wants to just, like, every week or every month, hey, we're going to take some of your gold. Like, that's it. As I said before, New World is actually a covert psyop created by Jeff Bezos because it's used to change public perception around taxes. Because obviously Amazon and Jeff Bezos have received a lot of criticism publicly about taxes, etc. So New World was released to have an oppressive tax structure as a covert psyop to change the public's perception of taxes towards being negative and allow them to understand why Jeff isn't paying any taxes. There's a lot of people that don't know this, but this is actually what it is. But yeah, straight up, like, all I'm saying here is that the tax stuff sucks. Like, that's literally it. Nobody wants to pay taxes. It's just deleting your money. And it makes you feel bad. Do you realize socialism calls for more taxes and not less? Socialism is when no car, no taxes, no car, all taxes, no money. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody knows that. Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
are starting to stabilize, I'd
I don't wanna hear
imagine,
your
or at
political
least
takes.
they're starting to get a better idea of what the economy is
having
going to
fun.
look like and where the gold is going to be generated from, which means cheaper properties for all of us.
Yeah.
They've also increased the amount of Umbral shards gained for the dungeons, and the mutator orbs. This is my most important one here,
Okay.
my favorite one. Mutator orbs can now be purchased from the faction store every 3 days rather than every 7 days, and it's about damn time. This is probably one of the biggest things that turned me off about dungeon mutations. The biggest thing is, like, you tell me that you want me to be able to do the hardest content in the game and try it over and over again so
Yeah.
we can master it and maximize it, but then you tell me that I can only do, a certain amount a week. So I think that this is a very, very, very nice step, which also leads me to believe
New World has more time gating than Lost Ark does. New World has more time gating than WoW does. New World has too much time gating, and it's actually insane. Like, yeah, it's absolutely fucking insane. Yeah, more time gating and less content.
that we most likely will be getting new dungeons soon. Because if they're reducing the time from 7 to 3 days, means that we'll need mutator orbs more often. And if they ever decide to do multiple dungeon mutations at a time, meaning you have your choice between, 6 dungeon mutations, let's say, in a year from now, this could make a lot of sense. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this number go down even further as more dungeons come out and the requirement to get these Umbral shards and stuff like that increases. Now,
I think that the biggest issue, as I said before, like the mutator orbs, the Azoth stuff, everything like that, the core issue is unnecessary friction. New World has a lot of systems that are just unnecessary friction. Azoth, fast travel, but that's kind of Azoth at the same time, right? Fast travel, taxes, What was he just talking about? The time gating, tuning orbs. All of these things are just designed to be a wall that you have to climb over to get to where you want to be. And in all of those cases, the wall doesn't need to be there. There's no need for a wall. Just give us a door, we go through the door. And that's it. Sounding like a broken record, my dude? Well, yeah. When you're talking about a broken game, you gotta be a broken record, because I'm staying on message. This is what the problem with the game is. They are wasting your time on purpose. That is fundamentally what the problem is, and that is the main issue with the game. If you didn't feel like you were having your time wasted constantly, I feel like there are a lot of people who grew to resent New World because of how much it wasted their time.
This is something that I think you guys all will love. Fast travel from towns and shrines will now have
Amazon
base
built a
cost
wall and we
of
paid
20
for it.
Azoth, period. There are no longer cost adjustments for distance or weight. Default recall time to the inn has been reduced from 1 hour to 30 minutes. Okay. And reduced cost of resetting fast travel cooldown on houses from 50 Azoth to 20. Like, this is really, really good. And these are some...
Yeah. We realize these changes will significantly reduce the sinks for Azoth and result in many players having more than what they can use in the immediate future. We're also aware that it will result in faction control points for certain regions being nullified while we were pointing out races of justice. Yeah, so they actually are changing fast travel. Yeah, so they are, because people don't want to do it. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. Like, that's it. Like, you just don't want to do it. I just want to do a dungeon. Yeah, I just want to do a dungeon and move around in the MMO. No, I'll come back whenever New World comes out with the big bad. This is one thing I would want to ask Scott, right? This is like the game design, the guy that makes the game. It's the guy in charge. Is like, I would literally ask, do you think that the amount of restrictions on like Azoth as a system has been a positive for most players? Has this improved the experience for the average player, having Azoth exist in the game? I'd really be curious to hear what he'd have to say.
Really key changes that I definitely think should have been made a long time ago, but I'm happy that they're being made. Now, there were some other honorable mentions here where they talked about the Void Gauntlet currently being a little too effective at locking down and killing targets before they can recover from their root on Petrifying Scream. So they're increasing the cooldown on Petrifying Scream to lower the frequency of this kill combo, and lowering the damage of Orb of Decay to make it less likely to kill tougher targets.
I really hope that I hope that we can stream New World one day and just hang out and have fun, play the game. Like I really did. I feel like there's not really a lot to do right now. I'd love if they brought out like new PvE content and like I could do that on stream or something. It'd be really fun.
K already has many other functions, including healing and debuffing. We feel like it's a safe choice to reduce its damage in a way without hurting the ability's overall viability.
Give it a couple years,
so increase the cooldown on Petrifying Scream from 15 to 25 seconds. Base ability damage reduced from 100 to 90%. Detonating Orb from 100 to 70%, which absolutely needed to be done. And as I talked about before with the Rapier, the cooldown increase, you guys are going to feel that. So be ready for this, especially if you guys haven't been playing on the PTR. It's going to be really, really significant. Now, in terms of my Great Axe Cats, like I told you guys before, they reworked it from its previous PTR version. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the new Great Axe, especially with...
it sounds weird, but I never really used the Great Axe. I actually got like the best in slot Great Axe. It's not best in slot, but it's really close. Pretty close to best in slot Great Axe at a legendary drop from Lazarus, and I never fucking used it.
The update now, and then in terms of trading and sending gold, you have to be physically near each other to do it. You can't just send it anywhere. I'm assuming this is to combat bots and stuff like that. So outside of that, guys, there's a lot of changes. I wanted to talk briefly about some of the ones that I felt were the most important.
I got off Celia
just keeping you guys updated, even if you guys might not be playing right now, because I know a lot of us are just waiting to see what's going to happen with this game, because we still love the game.
True.
It's just kind of in a weird place right now.
Sure
so
is.
Again, wanted to keep you guys updated on the little stuff. Let me know what your favorite part of this update is. I will post the link to these notes in the description box so you guys can see these for yourself. And if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, definitely let me know in the comment box below, and I'll be happy to assist. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
As I said before, I've watched Damon Kim's videos for quite a while. You know, I like the guy. Yeah, I like Damon Kim a lot. And if you like New World, if you care about New World, care about Lost Ark, I'd suggest subscribing to his channel. He makes good videos. I've watched, as I said, I've watched a lot of them over time. And yeah, he's great. And so that's basically it. New World's focused on PvP, Unity PvE balance. Yeah, I know. It's always going to be hard to do both of them at the same time, man. You ever see a game he started on? I actually heard that he started on Genshin Impact. That's what I heard before. I'm not sure.